as we are not educators and we feel we are failing our kids. As you all well know, children need socialization and structure. They are not learning as they should be, and we cannot simply continue on like this forever. What, if anything, is being done to get children back into school? You hold our children's futures in your hands. I am begging you, please advocate for them to get back to normal existence. I truly fear for their futures and that this has gone on long enough. With all of my respect and admiration.
Okay.
President Lloyd, do you mind if I just make a quick comment?
Absolutely.
Thank you. First of all, thank you again for being here. And I just want to make a quick comment to say that we are working with our health department. We're working tirelessly every day to try to get us to a place where we're balancing safety and the educational needs, emotional needs, mental needs of our students, and we'll continue to do so. It's not a perfect system, and it's ever changing. Even though we've been in this for so many months, we still have to take our precautions and take our cues from the health department, and we'll continue to do that. So we're doing our best, and we appreciate the comments.
Thank you. All right, next we have items for public information. The Cougars Sports Report. With the new year, we have change. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Keenan for his years of service giving the sports report, but he's passed the baton.
Pass the baton.
Nice.
There you
go. It was washed first and cleansed, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Sprayed it with Lysol, sprayed it down.
You can find the Lysol wipes.
Yep.
So anyhow, we have Ms. Flynn is going to handle our sports report. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kevin, for passing this on. I am very excited that we do have a sports report. Kids are finally getting back into their respective arenas. We'll start with ETR and what's going on there. Their winter intramurals will begin on Monday. Basketball will split time in the gym between girls and boys over the next 10 weeks. They're hopeful there'll be some sort of competition in the spring. They've seen tremendous participation in their fall numbers and are think that the winter sports are looking very, very good with numbers. Here at the high school, the winter non-league season against league opponents began on Tuesday. That just has to do with Central League time, and so hopefully the kids will get started. To date, there have been 4 home basketball games, 2 for the boys, 2 for the girls. The boys basketball team is 2-1 with a big win over Pencrest, and the girls team is 3-0 with big wins over Marple and Ridley. There have been 2 home wrestling matches, and they had a big win last night, so their record is 2-1. And they've actually seen the highest numbers in athletes participating. They're up to 22 kids, just fantastic. The first swim meet is tomorrow night against Pencrest. And track is currently training. They train about 3 times a week. No meets at this point. And I also that's pretty much it for the sports report, but I'd just like to send a shout out to our athletic department. Glenn Mallon and Tom Lemieux do a fantastic job at keeping the kids safe. It's really, really challenging time, and I think they're doing an amazing job. So that's it. Hopefully I will have a bigger report next time. But that's it for me.
I would also second that as a parent of a child in the sports program. Yeah. The safety protocols, and even tonight we're reviewing, voting on our making sure our plan's up to date. So yeah, I second that, Jen.
Yeah, I think especially through the fall, we saw that the numbers were fairly low, and they did a great job. They really do an amazing job to put the season together, put it together with the existing teams that are still playing around us, and I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah, all the parents are cooperating with the indoor activities,
Yeah.
and the student athletes playing with masks on. It's been difficult for them, but they're all adhering to the rules, and they're very happy to be in the gym competing.
And just to see every day with our students and our staff is amazing. They have done a wonderful job with administering to the protocols that our safety protocols in place, both sports and in school. And it's just nice to hear our staff compliment the students that are doing such a good job. Like, not, you know, we're in this together, and our staff's doing a good job, and our students too. So thank you.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, can I put one more thing in? Don mentioned that parents who actually can't come in to watch the games can actually view it on our website. It's through YouTube, and
We have a YouTube channel that they can watch it on the internet, or they can view it on our website live. All the
And
home
you know the voice of the Cougars is right next to you, right?
What's the name
Yes.
of the channel? The YouTube channel. You just look up Springfield High School on
Springfield
YouTube?
High School Sports, yes.
Springfield High School Sports, okay.
Good question.
Okay, nice report, thank you.
thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Kevin just texted me and said, "Nice job, solid B." That's good. We're in the top 3.
All right, next up we have, no more gym bashing. Next up we have the committee reports. First we have education, Dr. Laughlin.
Yes, thank you, President Ward. So the Education Committee did meet yes, Director Keenan. Last Thursday in the auditorium. We were socially distanced and to be in that beautiful facility. We spent the time discussing the CARES money that we received for the relief fund and how those dollars have been distributed. So everything from boosting up the technology for our servers to make sure that we had appropriate bandwidth for students, as well as even details around additional tables we had to buy for the SLC. So again, you've been in the SLC, you know those round tables. Again, kids can sit very close together in group instruction, small group instruction. Unfortunately, for social distancing, we obviously had to remove those tables and had to purchase new tables. So going into a lot of detail. And then at the end of the committee meeting, those who attended were able to go on a tour and see the facility. Mrs. Conlon led that, so that was fantastic. So we are meeting again next month, February 11th. We'll be meeting in the auditorium again. And I just wanted to echo what Director Flynn said. So after the Ed Committee, a couple of us actually went to the gym because we knew there was a basketball game going on. And I have to say, it was so great. Like, it just felt almost normal, to go in and see kids playing and to see that they were happy. And I do have to give them credit for wearing a mask. I know I work out at the gym. It's extremely difficult to work out with a mask, but they were hanging in there. They loved it. As you said, the parents, again, everyone was following the rules, and it was just so refreshing to see it kind of a normal activity. So I couldn't agree more. It was a lot of joy to sit down and watch. So thanks. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Next we have facilities. Mr. Keenan.
Thank you, President Lord. Facilities Committee met last Wednesday, the 13th at 6 p.m. in this room. The topic of our discussion, as usual, is the master plan, closing out this building's contract. There's still some punch list work, as we call it, as well as some final items to close out all of the contracts. We then discussed phases 2 and 3, which is occurring right now over in our old high school. It's neat to finally call it the old high school now that we have the new high school. Discuss schedule, discuss management, discuss some items with how the site would be laid out. We then adjourned to executive session to discuss some contractual matters. Facilities Committee is scheduled to meet February 11th in this room at 6 p.m. To the public, please reach out if you have any questions, comments, concerns. The committee meetings are the best spot to voice your input. If you're uncomfortable coming to the school facilities, also we limit the attendance in the room per regulations, and then we also have it online with the ability to log on and or call it in. So please reach out to myself or Don Mooney if you would like to attend that meeting virtually, and we'll be happy to get it set up for you. That includes facilities.
I have a question. So when can the public expect, to see activity at the old school, at the old high school actually happening, like to see?
3 months, 2 months?
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
they're working on the abatement as we speak in the
Okay.
administration offices. They're almost done that, and then
Okay.
they're going to move into the main section of the building. So that's all happening inside, and you really don't see anything
Okay.
happening.
Mhm.
I would think that within 2 months, you'll start to see kind of the ends, the north and the south end, where they'll start to move towards the middle of the building. You'll see
Okay.
some of the building coming down. They're removing our underground storage tanks next week for fuel that we used and oil. They'll be coming out. So you'll start to see trucks coming in and out. You'll start to see a flurry of activity. Most of it's happening inside behind the walls.
Okay,
And they won't realize that.
all right, thank you.
Good question. Thanks. Next, we have finance and audit. Mr. Agavino.
Finance and audit did not meet, however, I believe we haven't met since we refinanced.
In
that.
December, yep. So I'm going to schedule a meeting in February. We'll have probably a meeting on February 9th.
Okay. But the school district, our first tranche of money that we borrowed for the new project was 2015,
Correct.
and we've already refinanced that tranche of money to a savings of about $2 million.
Wow.
So pretty incredible. But more to come on that. But great job by Don and his team once again, and a little luck doesn't hurt either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Personnel, we did not meet, so we'll move to policy. Mr. Pennsylvania.
The policy committee met on January 11th in this room. We went over several review policies, with little or no change. We distributed to the board so they can look them over and see if they have any comments on them. There's also one new policy which is required that we institute based on our new law in the state. We'll discuss that one later in the agenda.
Okay. Communications, Mr. Agavino.
No report.
Volunteer Memorial, Mr. Pennsylvania.
Volunteer Memorial is meeting this evening. I can't attend that, so Stan Johnston is attending that for me, former board member, and he will report back to me what went on at that meeting.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. Although board action is required, it is generally unnecessary to hold discussions on these items. With the consent of all members, they are therefore grouped, and approval is given in one motion. In the event a board member wants to discuss any item, the board president will move it to an appropriate place on the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? We're all good? Okay, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have items for board action. First, we have the personnel report. Recommendation reads that the board approves the personnel actions as listed in the personnel report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Barber.
Thank you. Ms. Bellis, for obviously for COVID reasons, wanted to limit the number of people that were here, so obviously she would have been here. But I'll be taking the report tonight. This evening, we are presenting the resignation of one non-certificated staff member and the retirement of one non-certificated staff member. We are also recommending the employment of one certificated long-term substitute teacher and the employment of 3 non-certified office staff members. Lastly, we are presenting 6 family medical leave. And I am specifically, if you can see it, I don't know, but I specifically was told not to mention what was crossed out here. Specifically told not to mention that Debbie Marker is retiring with 24 years of service. Debbie is our board secretary. She's our partner, and she's my friend.
Yeah.
And she is a wonderful person. And it's very bittersweet to announce this. But again, I was told not to mention it, so we really won't get into it.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's crossed out anyway.
What's her name, Debbie?
Debbie
What's her name?
Marker.
Debbie Marker, is that what you said?
Linda leaves you unsupervised for one night.
You take it all up.
That is the report, President.
Thank you very much. And we're going to miss Debbie for sure.
Absolutely.
Next, we have a board policy recommendation.
Oh,
Yeah, why don't we vote? That'd be good. All right.
See, we're not letting you go, Deb.
That got me all choked up. Okay. Okay, for the personnel report.
We still have a vote.
No.
What?
Oh,
We
okay.
still have to-
Okay.
He's having a hard time saying
Yeah,
it. You're good.
Oh, okay. We're going to vote on the personnel report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Okay, we'll get this one right. Next, we have board policy. Recommendation reads that the board approves the following policy for first reading. 218.3, discipline of student convicted, advocated of sexual assault. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Mr. Pennsylvania?
The State Senate passed Bill 530, Act 110 in November of 2020, which required a new section of Pennsylvania School Code, which then generated this policy. This policy is a rewrite of a previous policy we had, but it's a completely rewritten policy based on the new law. So that's about all I can tell you. You can look it over. If there's any comments or questions, please get back to me and I'll see what we can do to adjust it.
Okay, any questions from Mr. Pennsylvania? All right, we'll vote on this one too. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have the special education agreement. Recommendation reads that the board approves the joint special education agreement between Springfield School District and student ID number 6219. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Barber.
Thank you, President Lord. As with any special education agreement, we cannot discuss the details in public. I can just let the public know that we have done the best that we can do for this particular situation of the student.
Okay, so we'll move right to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have another special education agreement. Recommendation reads that the board approves the joint special education agreement between Springfield School District and student ID number 7543. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Barber.
As with the last settlement, we can't discuss the details in public, but the board is appraised on the details in executive session, and we are able to discuss things and make sure, again, that we're doing the right thing by the student and the right thing by the school district.
Okay, we'll move right to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have an independent contractor agreement. Recommendation reads that the board approve the agreement between Springfield School District and independent contractor Benjamin White, licensed clinical social worker and certified home and school visitor, to provide clinical services for the elementary level grades K through 5. This agreement is for the 2020-2021 school year, with services being provided during the 111 instructional days, for a total cost of the district not to exceed $31,746. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, President Lord. So this is a replacement of a contract that's terminated services with the district. This new social worker will be providing services at our elementary levels between the Springfield Literacy Center and our 2 elementary schools.
Any questions for Mr. Mooney?
Does this person work exclusively for the school district? Or it says independent, they work for other institutions?
No, I mean, at 111 days, they obviously are working some other days, so
Okay.
that's part of the reason why they're an independent contractor with us, part-time work.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have the pandemic plan for athletics and activities. This is an update. Recommendation reads that the board approves the update to the pandemic plan for athletics and activities. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, President Lord. So this is an update to our health and safety plan for athletics. The PIA has released new guidance on winter sports, and we've amended our plan to include that new guidance. Mostly it talks about attendance at indoor events, how many people can attend, and precautions to take while people are attending those events. And obviously mask wearing is one of them for indoor events, both for the teams and the spectators and coaches.
Any questions for Mr. Moon? Okay, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have the address change approval. Recommendation reads that the board approves the new address for Springfield School District and Springfield High School as 200 South Rolling Road, Springfield, PA 19064. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, President Lord. So the board needs to take action and recognize that our address has changed. We were at 49 Leamy Avenue and 111 Leamy Avenues where the administration offices were. We've now all moved to the new location here at 200 South Rolling. So PD requires that the board recognize that and have it in the minutes. So that's our new address. Even though our sign out front says something different, we're getting that
Change order? That's not a change order, that's a punch list.
Kevin knows it's a punch
Not a
list.
change order. We're not-
Have you ever seen that commercial where the guy goes, he's painting the end zone, and he goes, "Who are the chefs?" the guy's putting the sign out. The guy's putting the sign out by door, and I'm like, "Do you know what road we're on?" And he looks at me, and goes, "This isn't Leamy Avenue, isn't it?" I said, "No, it's not." But the new panels have been ordered. They should be here shortly.
We don't approve it. Do we have to move back?
I know.
Longer than that.
We'll be back in the old days. Any other questions for Mr. Moon? All right. That was fun. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have the Springfield High School Master Plan Change Order Approval. Recommendation reads that the board approves change order number 03-003 in the amount of $45,603.78 for additional plumbing work and bonus completion payment for the high school master plan project. All change order costs will be funded from the capital project's bond proceeds. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, President Lord. So Director Keenan mentioned this in his report. We're in the middle of closing out phase one, which is the building of the new high school and the stadium. And this is the first of the prime contractors where we're completing all their paperwork and closing it out, as Director Keenan mentioned, how we finished this for phase one. This is the plumbing contractor that we're completing all their paperwork. Final change orders have been approved. They're really not on site any longer. Their punch list is about 99.9% complete. There's a couple items that they're just finishing up, but they're, for most intents and purposes, they are done.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Mooney? All right, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Last, we have Plan Con Part H filing. Recommendation reads that the board recognizes receipt of the Plan Con Part H project financing revision based on the approval letter dated December 15, 2020 from the Pennsylvania Department of Education for Series A of 2020, project number 3903 for the Springfield High School and District Administration Offices. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, President Lord. So this is the PlanCom process. Part H is the process. We get it approved up at PD, and this allows us to start to receive reimbursement under the PlanCom reimbursement plan that we're in. So Series A of 2020 is the last new money borrowing for the high school that we closed in November of 2020. So we're just going through that process now. We're up to H. We finished it with Part J. Is where we'll get to, but this allows us to start receiving reimbursement under this new money that we borrowed in November.
Any questions for Mr. Mooney?
Yeah. Don, do we anticipate how much we'll be getting?
On this particular one, it's roughly about 7 cents on the dollar.
Okay.
One is what it ends up being. So this borrowing was about $17.3 million. So it's paid over 20 plus years.
Yeah, paid over, right.
Right.
The
That's how
life
we get
of the
reimbursed.
bond. Right. This is this.
Don, did we have this baked into the financial pro forma for this, or with the uncertainty when the job started? I know that the program was uncertainty, so did we have this Is this required for us to hit those numbers in our financial projections?
It was, so it's a great question. When we were presented the whole master plan project financing back 5 years ago now, we were unsure where PlanCom was going. There was a moratorium, no new projects were being approved. Luckily, we got in under the radar, under the wire, and got our project approved prior to the moratorium. So we've gone through now 6 borrowings, and each one of them will receive reimbursement under PlanCon. It's year to year. The state could always pull the PlanCon funding. And what we've seen them do is they fund the existing programs that have been approved, projects that have been approved, but they're not increasing the funding from year to year. So our project luckily is within that funding, and we've already started receiving reimbursement on all the earlier issues. This is the last issue for phase 1 of the high school, and it'll close out the high school financing. So we will get money over the next 20 plus years under these reimbursements.
Great work on that, Don. As everyone can see, we're up to part H, so there's quite a bit of paperwork to get these things going. We're about a third of the way through the alphabet. You know, there's a lot of formulas. So good work done.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question. What does this mean, like in layman's terms? Because I'm not a financial advisor.
So I'm going to choose a ballpark number. Yeah. Probably between $8 and $9 million is what we'll get back on all the money that we borrowed, the $128 million.
Okay.
The state will reimburse us a small percentage of that is what we'll get back over the 20 plus years.
And that goes towards the building, I mean, that goes to pay for what we've already done?
It actually comes in as a subsidy on our budget. So we receive a subsidy from the state is what happens. We're paying the debt service on the expense side, and the reimbursement from the state comes in as a revenue, is what it'll be, in roughly $350,000 to $400,000 a year.
Okay.
But as Director Keenan mentioned, when we did the pro forma, we did not budget any of this because we were so unsure where this was all going. So this is a positive for us, for sure, that we're receiving this.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thanks, Tom. Move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries 9-0. Next, we have the liaison reports. First, the solicitor's report. Ms. McCullough.
Thank you, President Ward, but I don't have any need to report anything other than I did want to comment the building score does. Congratulations to everyone who worked so hard to get this accomplished. It's magnificent. It's such a wonderful addition to the community, to staff, students, everybody. It's just congratulations to everyone. Just fabulous.
Thank you. Next, we have the legislative board report. Mr. Agavino.
I do have a brief report. I spoke to our state representative, Chairman Mara, and while there's not a lot of stuff happening as far as bills, especially related to education, she just gave me a little bit of an insight into some of the conversation that's going on in Harrisburg. It wouldn't be this time of year if the conversation about property tax elimination didn't come up, and it's apparently at the top of the list again this year. So we'll have to, never seems to work out, but they talk about it and spend an awful lot of time on it each year. And apparently there's competing bills as well discussing the fair funding formula too. So as the fair funding formula, in a nutshell, the rural counties in PA, I think there's 500 counties, and that's
500 school districts.
500 school districts.
Mm-hmm.
But the rural counties in PA have seen the population decreases through the years, but yet their funding for their public education doesn't really go down. Those of us sitting here in the southeast seem to pay an inordinate share of the property tax. And but if you're a politician in Center County, you're not going to vote to raise your constituents' taxes, and has been the go-around for many, many years. And I guess they'll have at it again, and we'll see how that works out. It's budget season for the legislature, just like us. Jen reports that actually revenues were higher in November and December than they were projecting as far as projections via COVID. But the state still sees a $9 billion hole. So she's optimistic that education will not be top stellar. And in our pre-meeting, we discussed the CDC and the Pennsylvania Department of Health with their change as far as vaccines. Now 65 and older folks have been moved to more to the front of the line, which as far as affecting the school district, we were hopeful that our teachers and staff might see vaccines within, even the next 30 days. But that does not, right now, that seems to be a little bit in peril. We're a lot in peril. So we're not sure of the timeline, but the next, 30 to 45 days does not seem likely at this time. So Jen's, working on our behalf with that matter. And as far as Jen, I'd like to congratulate her. Actually, as of today, she was appointed to the Board of Directors for the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, PIA, which is a great achievement for her. Jen's very passionate about the affordability of the higher education and managing the debt around that. So she's excited to serve there, and our congratulations go out to her. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the DCIU board report. Levinsky.
Yes, hi. The last meeting with DCIU was Wednesday, January 6th. It's always the first Wednesday of the month, 7 p.m. So a couple things. DCIU received test kits through the Chester County Health Department, and that each location of DCIU is in the process of planning to implement that's the testing program for them, not the vaccine, as is our district. The antigen test, thank you. The vaccine, of course, as Frank just mentioned, it's a slow rollout. It's a non-starter right now, but we hope that it will be, we don't have any control over it, but it's frustrating. So, number 3, open houses. They're doing virtual open houses of their technical school. That's we refer to it as the DCTS, Delaware County Technical Schools. And they've been done through Zoom. So they started in December, and there is one more next Wednesday night. People can sign up for it. It's like a live Zoom session, and they tape these. So if you miss one, you can go and access them through the website. And you can listen to the the recorded Zoom session. But there is one that's still coming up, which is next Wednesday, so the 27th at 7 p.m. It's about their medical careers, which is pretty interesting. That's the healthcare practitioners, nursing, and techs. They partner with 7 local hospitals: Bryn Mawr, Crozier, Chester, Delaware County, Lankenau, Mercy Fitz, Riddle, and Taylor. So again, it's www.dcis.org/DCTS. And also upcoming is they sponsor the science. It's now called the Science and Engineering Fair. Yes, it has been the science fair back when my kids were doing it. And it was a lot of fun, but unfortunately it's virtual. But that will be happening over the first 2 weeks of March this year. And the platform, I hope it goes well. It's a new platform for DCIU. It's called their STEM Wizard platform. So, and last but not least, there's a program that they're offering to the public to become a substitute teacher. It's offered typically this time of year every year. I actually went on the website and looked. It's guest training, it's called. January 25th through the 28th, so it's next week. It's some virtual that you do on your own, and then it looks like there's some in person. There's 2 forms. One of them says it's full, but then the other one, professional, says that you can. Training registration is still, you can still sign up, I guess. It's a $50 fee for people. And it's open to someone who has a bachelor's degree. They don't have a teaching certificate, but if you want to try your hand at substituting teaching, then you can complete this program, sign up, complete the program, and if you're chosen, then it's a good way to make a start. Interesting. So that's it. And then the next meeting for DCIU will be February 3rd, and then the following one after that is March 3rd, 7 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the Delaware County Community College Board Report. Mr. Sillo.
Thank you, President Board. Delaware County Community College Board has not met.
Okay. All right, future board meetings, February 25th, 2021, and March 25th, 2021. Superintendent salutations, Dr. Barber.
Thank you, President Ward. Just quickly, I'd like to thank our technology people back there that have made this happen tonight. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Did a wonderful job. Just like to inform the public, I know you've been asked a few times, and I don't blame people that want to get on our track. Unfortunately, right now, our track is closed due to COVID. It's closed to the public. It's going to be closed for outside sports for now. We have our COVID protocols that have been very successful. We just, we have athletic plans and school plans and things that we need to follow to keep everyone safe, both the children and the adults. And we do not have the staff nor the protocol awareness of these outside groups or individuals to keep people COVID safe. So until we can get to a better place, unfortunately our track's going to be closed, but we will let you know as soon as we can open it, because it is a community asset, and we do want our community to be able to use the asset. We just need to make sure that it's safe for everyone. So we appreciate your patience with that. I know Director Arvino has mentioned the vaccines. Tomorrow our public's going to be getting a letter from our district that talks about the fact that the superintendents and the Chester County Health Department and the IU have worked on a plan to have our teachers vaccinated. That plan would have started February 13th. Unfortunately, we do not have the allotment of vaccines necessary to complete the initial dosage for our staff, and then the second dosage would have been in March. So until we get the vaccines in hand, we can't vaccinate our staff, hence we need to advocate for our teachers to be looked at as essential workers, and hopefully that the people that are controlling the distribution will see that also and get us to a place where we can vaccinate our staff. I know we had tonight public comment. I've had some parents contact us about when are we getting our students back to full time. I just want to say, as a parent of 2 students in the district in hybrid, I realize it's not easy. Our attendance the last 2 weeks has been at about 93%, which is incredible. And I want to thank our students and our families. We're actually above where we usually would be, which is great. Because usually we'd have the flu hitting us right now, but we don't. But so we know our students want to be here and want them to be here, but we're looking at obviously the vaccines, and we're also looking at the guidance from the Chester County Health Department. We're looking at all the research that has come in, and it keeps coming in about the 6-foot distancing. And as we continue to learn more about the virus and everything, we'll look at to see what we can do to get our students here more often, but also keep them safe and keep our staff safe. I know the research, the most current research when it comes to students and the virus, but we also have to remember we serve well over 500-600 adults here too, and we have to keep them safe as well. So despite the students might not be at as much risk, we have to protect our adults too. So we have to really follow the health department's guidance, and hopefully the vaccines will be on pace. And if not, we'll get some more information about maybe going a little bit less than 6 feet when we are allowed to do so based on the medical experts. I just appreciate everybody being here tonight. I appreciate our staff that's working so hard to make this COVID marathon to continue running. We have to keep going. I know everybody's fatigued, but there's no quit here. Nobody's given up. We're still here and we're going to keep moving, so that's what we do here. So that's what we're going to keep going. Have a great night and a good weekend. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Dr. Barber. Before and after each meeting, the board meets in a non-public executive study session to discuss personnel, legal, and labor relations matters. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.